What advice would you give to, say, your 16-year-old self?
What advice I would give to my 16-year-old self?
Yep.
I had it figured out at 16. So really,
Really?
then
There was
yeah,
no advice you could give yourself now in hindsight that would have bettered you.
no advice.
Wow, you're one cocky chick. I kind of like
Yeah,
it.
I turned out great.
Just look at me, babe.
Yeah.
Hey, I like it. You're spunky.
What about you?
Oh man, I would have told myself sometimes you gotta maneuver around inside the system rather than try to resist and just get out of it. Maneuver around inside the
What
system
kind
to better
of
position yourself.
jailbird shit is that? You been in jail? That sounds like you fucking
I have.
institutionalized or
No,
something.
not institution. Like I've been to jail for a couple of days, nothing like that. But
What the fuck? Maneuver around the system
I
and
think
all
like
this
that.
other dumbass shit?
Well,
What?
my dad's like the smartest, most successful dude I've ever seen. He took us from like poverty to like he's probably he's the richest dude I know now. He might be a millionaire for all I know. But he used to tell me shit
What,
like,
he's so dope?
nah, he's an architect, self-made, smartest dude I've ever seen, most successful. Anyways, he used to tell me, son,
Oh, your daddy got a wife? He's single.
no, they're still married. They're still married. My mom and dad are still married.
I'm joking.
Yeah, but he used to say, son, there's never a bad thing. Everything's an opportunity. It's all about seeing your angle. So I learned from him. That's where like that kind of mentality and shit comes from. I learned his
But what
business
does that
shit
have to
and I
do
took it
with
to the street. I took it all to the street.
what does that have to do with maneuvering within the system? That's exactly what you said.
Yeah, because rather than try to resist it and rebel against the system, which will crush you if you do that or stop you from doing
What
that,
system?
the system that be like the
The
corrupt
what?
system that I see. School, for instance, growing up, that was the thing that I wanted to resist. Just normal.
Because you're a dumbass.
Girl, I had a high ass IQ and GPA and all that shit for the first early years of my life until I realized, fuck all this. It's bullshit. They're teaching me nonsense. I have goals and shit I could be doing outside of here right now, working towards being a success. You guys have me trapped in here, fucking wasting my life away learning bullshit. Fuck that.
And what have you done now as a 35-year-old? What have you created?
Well, I've created a whole lot, but the biggest thing that I'm proud of is I escaped a super fucking degenerate drug, like embraced that kind of life, like selling, being fucking involved criminally in gang. I don't want to say too much on here, but like I escaped like a decade of that, crazy fucking heroin addiction and shit throughout that. 'Cause I was selling,
Really?
yeah, because I was selling so much of it that I was like getting high on my own supply for free and still making an ass. And I got out of all that luckily, well, through fighting hard I could, but also by God like
How do
delivering
you
me.
wait? How do you intake heroin? You just shoot it up, or you
Well,
smoke
most
it?
people do, but the thing that saved my life is I snorted it because we had like China White, which is like high quality. You can't snort like black tar heroin, but yeah, I just always snorted it. And you want to know why? This is
Why?
actually this is something I don't like to admit because I had a phobia for needles. I still hate them to this day. I'm like a little bitch about it. I hate the idea of them going into my fucking yeah. That saved my life.
Why did it save your life? Oh, because if you would have shot up, you probably would have overdosed.
I already did overdose a bunch of times. I was revived and shit like 3 or 4
What?
times, and
Oh, they
by
had
the
to like
grace of
pump
God.
your stomach and shit.
Yeah, well, worse than that. One time, I just like woke up in the back of an ambulance, and this dude looked at me like he seen a ghost, and I was like, "Sorry." He's like, "Don't
He
be
thought you
sorry,
were
buddy.
dead.
I thought I lost you. I had to hit you with 3
Oh my
Narcans."
god.
And he was like so happy to see me. He's like, "You're something else, man. You're the only person I've ever revived that apologized when they woke up."
Oh my
But,
god.
and then I went to jail for like 3 days immediately from the hospital from there, and I come
Jail
home.
or were you fucking Baker Act, bitch?
No, it was just straight up jail. I got caught with a bunch of dope on me. Not a bunch, but enough to put me in there for the weekend. But
Were you ever Baker Act?
mm-mm,
Oh,
no, I'm not crazy.
that's insane. I mean, you did heroin, so you kind of insane.
Well,
You
yeah, I
know
could.
it was addicting.
Well, it doesn't start. You don't just jump. You don't just start doing heroin. What happens is
Take
you
gateway.
you start with like a Vicodin or a Percocet, not realizing that they could ever lead to such a thing, and it just slowly and surely,
Oh, so what drugs did you have? Like Percocets and stuff?
every
What
drug
all
under the
drugs?
sun. You wouldn't believe this.
Every drug?
Listen, every
Every
drug.
drug, Nick?
Listen to me. Every drug of our creation. So we had this Israeli Phil,
What?
listen to me. Listen, I don't even tell these stories to people some of the time because like it's like if you pitch them to a Hollywood
No,
producer.
keep going. I love this.
All right, so I guess I can't get implicated for saying this at this point. We had a, we had an Israeli pill manufacturer, a legitimate pill manufacturing company, pressing our custom order pills overnight when they shut down shop for the day, so we could get whatever we wanted. And me and my friends were like fucking crazy weirdo druggies. Like we knew how MDMA worked. We used to read the old research papers and shit.
What's MDNA?
Ecstasy. So
Oh,
we were like, what if we like put a little molecule on here or whatever, or did this? I wonder what that would do. And you know what they call that nowadays? Research chemicals. We were doing this shit way before all this stuff. We started
what?
the game with all this shit.
So y'all were just like being guinea pigs with drugs and just trying different shit. Y'all could have
Yeah.
killed yourself. Y'all know
Well,
that.
sure. But we were also, I made so much fucking money. It was crazy.
Because they didn't know what the fuck they were getting high off of.
No, we didn't sell that. We didn't do that.
Oh,
We sold any. I was always straight up about my shit. I was always super
oh,
responsible about the stuff I sold. I don't want
well,
anybody
that's
ODing.
good.
Well, I remember one time some dude the dude I was working for, he's like, "Yo, the third bun, the fifth bag in, it's a hot bag. Do what you want with it." And a hot bag is when they fucking put fentanyl inside heroin, so that one it's an overdose, and all the other junkies hear about that dude overdosing and dying or whatever, and they're like, "That's that fire shit. I want to go get that." It
What
drives
the
up
fuck?
business, and I was like, "Bro, you're fucking doing that? Like, have you ever given these to me before? What the fuck are you doing? Like, I
How
never
do you
want."
feel as a drug dealer? Or, well, then, like, did it ever affect you in a way like I'm killing people?
Well, no, because see, I was never trying. I would heroin addicts would never overdose if it was regulated in a way that like you got the same exact amount every time. You know how much you need to get high. The reason overdoses happen is because every fucking bag is a crapshoot. It's different percentage in there. But
So how does
so I always took it real seriously, making sure all my bags were the same. Like it was pretty legit business, man. We fucking like I said, I saw my dad how to run real business, and I just took that shit to the streets because I went hard. I rebelled super fucking hard, and that's what I was trying to tell. That would be the advice to my younger self. Like, just because the system's all fucked and shit doesn't mean that it's gonna do you a whole lot of good going totally against it and just fucking becoming a total rebel or whatever you want to call it. Like, work within it. You always need money. For instance, like you couldn't rebel against the system so hard that you don't have money and go live out in nature. So make money, work within it, and don't get arrested. Don't do stupid shit that's gonna get you jammed up. Move like a serious gangster. Like the real gangsters I learned from, they're not like these fake gangsters in the rap game and shit like that. They don't want to advertise their gangsters. They do everything they can to downplay and dismiss the fact that they're a gangster. That's real G's. And like I could have done that a little better growing up, but I had to learn that along the way.
so when did you get to the point where you were just like, you know what? I'm done with this lifestyle and I want to do better. I don't want to
Great
be an
question.
addict anymore. Did you go to jail? Was it jail? Was it rehab? Or did you do
Oh, all that happens a million times over. But great
really?
question. Sure, a million times over, but great question. And I'll tell you what finally did it. I remember one time I was sitting there and I had like literally all the money in my pocket I could want. I could go buy anything I wanted with cash at the moment. I had literally every fucking drug on deck that you could conceive. And I had a bunch of fucking bitches around me because of that. And it dawned on me, I've never been more miserable in my life. And it
Oh,
fucked
wow.
me up. Because like all my life, I thought to myself, like, if only I had enough money that bills weren't a worry. If only I had some drugs to do when I wanted every once in a while. If only I had some bitches to fuck on call. Well, I had all of that. And I realized, like, I've never been more miserable in my life because I can't trust none of these people. They're only here for what I can provide for them. If there's an opportunity to stab me in the back to get ahead of me, they will. All the good people in my life saw this becoming and they fell off away from me. All the bad succubuses and fucking vampires and shit have come around to looking to suck me dry. This is I can't take any drugs to escape this because they ain't working. And no, there's nothing I could buy to make me feel better right now. And no pussy I could fuck would make me feel better either because it's not real. It's not love or nothing. They're trying to, and it fucked me up. And that's when I started like just desperately working to get off heroin and shit. And I distanced myself from selling. My life got crazy at that point because like money was a major trigger for me. Having money on me was um a major trigger. So like when I was getting clean from heroin, I had to like it was the strangest thing, but I'm a hustler too by nature. I always hustle and get money up. And I couldn't. I had to stop myself from working and stuff. I had to like literally cut myself. And actually, it's just crazy. There's so much more to this story, but yeah, she left anyways. I mean, I could talk forever about my stuff, but a lot of times I feel like it's so unbelievable. Like if you pitch it to a Hollywood producer, they'd throw it in the trash can. They'd be like, "We're not making this movie. It's too unbelievable." What do we got here? Let me catch up on the chat, guys. My bad. My boy C3, what's up, Sean? Who do we got still in the house? Michelle, Black Goo, Left the New Seasons, Josh, Sandre, Fabian, and the one and only Crip. Nice, nice. I like how you spelled that. I almost couldn't read it. I'm kind of stoned and very tired at the moment, but thanks for joining. What you guys got on your minds? What do you see in the world right now? I don't have any particular topic to get into. Frankly, I'm going to roll out of here soon and get to bed nice and early tonight, but I want to hear from you guys. Schleppy too. How's be doing that, Michelle? Nice one, Michelle. Can't hustle forever though. You end up dead or in jail. Well, that's the truth, man. You don't see any old gangsters, not anymore. They don't last long. And dude, it's a stressful life. And here's how I got up so high up in like the heroin game. I was like, all right, so this is the kind of industrious druggie I was. I wanted to supply the city of Pittsburgh with some good, pure, raw dope because nobody was doing it, but it couldn't be found. So I got up the idea. I'm going to drive around with a younger homeboy of mine with like, I think it was like $30 in my pocket, walking up to any kid that was saying he can get fire dope. I'm like, look, here's $30. Go get a sample of that shit. Bring it back here. If it's half as fire as you say it is, I'm going to go to the bank. I have a bunch of money in there right now that I'm going to put down on bricks. Um, anyways, I'm gonna cut this story short for now. I need to think through what I reveal on here sometimes. You know what I mean? I think you guys can understand. But I'm trying to be as transparent as possible. What's smart? What's up, Bobby? And Benz, I can't lie. I love us too much. We don't love them hoes. Oh no. Young men, the best advice I can give you. Learn and utilize these two simple words. Oh no. No, 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 ho. You gotta use that shit. Don't be going for these hoes, man. These hoes will suck you dry. The hoes are the biggest hustlers in the street, man. They can literally get a dude and move in his crib that day. You know, the hoes will get you, and they'll get you, and they'll after they take you for everything, they leave you there. You got a smile on your face, thinking that somehow you were up on the deal. It takes you weeks or months to realize, like that hoe took me. She got me for everything. They're good with it. It was good. Not much, John. How you doing, man? Thanks for joining. I'm just out here for a couple more minutes. See what I need to just say no to those hoes. Exactly, Michelle. Oh no. Big simpers out there. Exactly. Exactly, John. Big simpers. Big simping. Fabian Peg. Sure. Yo, what's up, Zeus? How you doing tonight, bro? I'm just out here cutting it up for a minute or two. Feel free to join if you're free, man. Ladies make the best sellers. What's up, Foodie? Thanks for joining. What's up, Chocolate? Thanks for joining. Yo, it's so hot in my crib. So I live in like a small one bedroom
I'm
condo.
so sorry, my phone went dead.
You better be.
Okay, so let's take it back. All right. I don't know if you want to go back, but I just want to ask you one thing before we move on
Hit
from
me.
that topic.
Hmm.
How did because I'm like, oh shit, what the fuck?
What?
I just dropped all my fucking weed.
As I'm lighting up mine, buzzkill.
Hey, that's some shit. All right, no, but like, how did heroin make you feel? Do you still do it today?
Fuck no. I told
Okay.
you God delivered it me from it years ago. But
God, you believe in God?
no, I don't believe in God. I know God because he delivered me from that
No, you
death grip of
deliver
hair.
yourself from that. Don't fucking
You
give
don't know the
God
story.
credit.
You don't know the story.
Okay, so how okay, so I'm a very visual person. So
Mm.
explain to me, how does heroin make you feel? Sell it
Just
to
like
someone who wants to try.
I almost don't want to, man. I feel like that's like kind of fucked up.
And no, like seriously, tell us. We grown in here. It's no like adolescents in here. Nobody underage.
Yeah, you never know
Everybody
who might end up serious,
21
but
and
I guess
under.
you're right.
Yeah.
All right, fuck it. What's up, Neon? Thanks for joining
Fuck
me,
neon.
man.
All right, go on.
I swear, over half the people I say hi to, you say that right after.
All right, go.
All
Tell us
right,
what
all
it feels
right, all
like.
right.
What it makes you feel like. What's the experience?
I mean, it just it
So as
feels
soon
like.
as you take a hit, as soon as you explain it,
Well, first of all, there's the taste, which I freaking really liked, and the fact that
what does it
like
taste like? Candy?
it's unexplainable. You can't explain it. It's just I
Oh, that's
couldn't.
why Ed. What's his name? Ed. Sharon. He made a song called. He said like it tastes like snowflakes or something, like ice.
It's hard to
Like
explain. Yeah, I couldn't put it into words
try to
really.
explain it. Like try. Like
I
you
honestly
could.
couldn't put it into words. It's just there's nothing to compare it to in the normal world. Uh,
Nothing. Okay. Is
because
it
also
sweet?
also when immediately upon like tasting it and sniffing it, and when it's good stuff, your
Mm-hmm.
your things in your brain just start like immediately
The
like you start
dopamines.
yeah you start getting high right then even before the
Oh,
drug
so
fully
you just
circulates through your
instantly
system.
start feeling good, like
Well,
instantly.
yeah, because
Oh,
smells bring you back to things, and when
yeah.
you it's gonna bring you back to like the best feeling on earth. Like in fact, they claim that like you start getting high like when you're on your way to fucking you set it up with your dealer. He's like right here. I'm about to get the dope and
Oh,
fucking go get
wow.
high. They say that starts kicking in even then. But I mean
Hmm.
basically it's just like it's like a a totally comforting warm blanket comes over you, washing you of all anxiety, all
Hmm.
uh all worries, all everything. And it just like literally comes over your whole body, and you just, I mean, nothing is painful, nothing is too hard to deal with, nothing.
Right, LSD.
LSD is different, but this is just like a guaranteed bliss button every time until it's not. See, you start getting
So,
intolerance and shit. And also, what goes up must come down. You can't just keep fucking playing with those sensors all the time and expect them to keep working properly. So not only are they not going to, the drugs are going to become less effective over time. I ended up having the craziest insatiable habit. It was literally unsustainable. That's a big reason why I had to start like getting out of life too. It was just, there's no amount that you could use to get you high at a certain point because you fucking wore that shit out. You can't just push
oh, wow.
the happy button all the time and it's going to keep working. What goes up must come down.
Or
And
maybe you
it
just had a bad
Reaction.
purchase.
was that.
No, I was saying maybe he purchased just a bad batch or something.
No. I had to. That's not the case.
Oh,
Um, yeah, no. It just. I mean, it gets to a point where you have to fucking do it, and you have to do a lot of it every day or multiple times a day to even be able to like get out of bed to not feel like death, like just to feel even normal. If you don't have it,
well,
you're a
I kind of
fucking
feel like
mess.
that. Well, not really, but I kind of feel like that with weed. Like I gotta smoke. I gotta fucking smoke. Is it
Yeah,
like
here. No, I mean that's like a mental thing, and it's just not comparable. There's no
not?
physical sickness from weed. Whereas heroin is literally you're so fucking sick in every way, like
You
your
get
bowels.
sick?
Oh
It's
yeah,
the withdrawals.
What
yeah. When you're
the fuck?
withdrawing, your bowels get sick. And here's the worst part: the hot and cold sweats was the part I couldn't deal with. Like,
What
so
the fuck?
so you're fucking when you have your cover on, you start to sweat instantly, no matter what, even if it's like the lightest cover. But the second you take it off, you're freezing fucking cold, and you get on, off, on, off. You just can't get comfortable, no matter what. I'd be up all night for nights just tossing and turning because of the cold sweats and shit. Not one moment of sleep. So that's the point. Every time you deal with a heroin and shit, well, guess what? When you don't have it, as high as you were flying, you're gonna be equally low in the fucking ground. You're gonna
Like
be
you have
feeling
COVID.
every bit of that misery. It's fucking like the most miserable thing on earth.
Like what?
It's like COVID. Like
Like you
you
feel
ever had
sick?
COVID?
You just
Like you
feel.
ever had COVID?
I never had COVID.
Okay, for example, I had COVID, right? For
Mm.
2 days, I felt like crap. Like I could not sleep, I could not eat. Hot sweats, headaches, all
So
that
you
crap.
can't
Right?
do shit for except get another opioid. Damn.
Exactly. You need it just to be able to function, just to be able to not feel like death. Otherwise,
And then,
you're in bed, but you're not sleeping, and that's the worst
and
part of it.
Okay, so
that's
if you know you have to go through this, why would you put yourself through that? Like
Because
again,
you
again.
don't ever see it coming. And I was the type of guy I was like, man, I'm way too mentally tough to ever get addicted to nothing. Nothing could ever do that because I'll just tell myself to fucking stop. And I will. Well, you think that until something like fucking heroin gets its grips in you, which is literally physically addicting, mentally addicting. So it changes your how you operate upstairs, so that when you don't have it, you're not functioning with that confidence. It'll enslave you. It enslaves you. And that's why it's so hard to fucking. Dude, I fought
So
every
how
which way
did
to
you
get off
beat
of it.
it? Like how did you get
let
over
me
it
let
at
me
such
get
a
you let
young
me get you
age?
let me get you an analogy, right? Okay.
Okay.
Now this is for the ladies. Understand this about I'm just speaking from my perspective because I am a dude. And you put 5 dudes or like 5 or 10 dudes in a room and put a batch of poison in it. One of us is wired to just go for it, right? Like I mean, I wonder what it tastes like. 'Cause like mentally, we're searching out of curiosity of what kind of stimuli that would have on us, right?
Hmm.
Because the human brain is naturally curious, right?
Yeah.
That's a
That's
good
why that's
point.
why we tend to do that's why we tend to do stupid shit and
Well,
ask
there's more
ourselves,
to it
man,
than
why did
that
I
with
think about
heroin.
doing that,
With
right?
heroin, I found this out. There's even more to it. That's a good point. But um, so morphine is the natural constituent that heroin comes from. Okay, all heroin comes from morphine, which comes from the poppy plant. Anyways, morphine is where the term endorphin comes from, and endorphin means endogenous morphine. And I heard it proposed one time, and it made total sense to me that those who become addicted to opiates and whatnot have a low endorphin count for some reason. They're endorphin deficient, and so they're self medicating and trying to supplement that. And that's the reason some people try opiates and just don't like them. They don't like that. That's common. I've heard of that. But for those of us who like are opiate addicts, we're like, what? How could you not like it? Right away, instantly, I
Like
was,
you've been depressed all your life and sad.
well, yeah, something like that. Exactly. We're just trying to self medicate that low endorphin level, and
So basically, because I was doing a study on this, I had to do a fucking journal for my damn psychology course. And I was studying like on our generation being like the saddest fucking generation. Like we are so not sad as in like pathetic, but like
not
sad as in
depressed.
yeah. Like
It's
really
real.
depressed and like no kind of love, no kind of support. Like
Hmm.
we're like the generation of just like doing it on our own. We didn't have like nobody to set the path for us to kind of look up to. We don't have fucking role models and shit like that.
Right.
And
Not good ones, anyways. You got like freaking these bitches
right,
out there
good one.
twerking their asses and anyways.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
I just think I feel like did you feel like in your addiction, during your addiction, like no one cared about you? Like you wasn't loved and stuff?
No, no, no. That's the one thing I gotta say that saved my life too. I had two incredible parents. Two incredible
What
parents. And
the fuck, Nick? So what was it?
it was a lot. Like, I like to think I was a smart
Don't
kid
tell
and
me it was no damn peer pressure.
No, no, no. Okay, so you want to know how I got into opiates? Basically, long and short.
Yeah.
I I messed around with drugs like and shit in high school, like weed. I sold and like we did like what LSD, ecstasy, mushrooms, shit like that, coke, pills, but
Oh,
never
so you
heroin.
was
Hey,
going,
Nick,
you
Nick,
was
Nick,
gonna
Nick, Nick,
dabble
Nick,
in
Nick,
it regardless.
Nick, Nick, Nick. It's just, I mean, because this is a public platform, my guy. You know what I'm saying? Don't be too
Man,
vivid.
he's
I
just
appreciate
being
it, bro, but
honest.
no, I'm
The
100%
hell?
candid with my past at this point. My family, they helped me through it. They knew about every painful step of it along the way.
That's why
Um,
we fuck with Nick.
I'm
That
grateful to
no,
be
it's
here,
not
and
that.
I
It's just
tell
I
this
just
stuff
I just
so
don't
that
want the
if
boy
anyone,
old boy to get canceled. I don't want a boy to get
Don't
canceled
get
because you know
fucking
they really.
canceled. If anything, this is gonna help other people
that's why I
and
do it. That's the
inspire
only
other
reason I do
people.
it. Yeah, I don't necessarily care to tell these details like about myself. I wouldn't even be on these platforms if it weren't for I'm trying to help other shit. Like I'm not doing this for myself for like my own vanity or some bullshit. I didn't even have social media until like I was 33 when I decided to start trying to do this.
That's what's up, Nick.
But yeah, so basically, I never fucked with heroin, and my boy, who was literally like basically like my brother from another mother, he was like a cousin or something more or less. Like his family were like my aunts and uncles basically, and mine were his. We were just super tight. I'd sleep at his house during school nights and vice versa, and his mom made sure I go all that shit. Anyways, we were best friends. Um, he ended up getting into hair. He was super shy and insecure and shit. I had to like defend him and protect him a lot of times, and uh, he was just the sweetest kid though. The sweetest kid, really funny, the perfect personality, like one of a kind. Anyways, because of all that insecurity and all that shit, and not always feeling loved and shit like you're talking about, he ended up getting into heroin in high school. And by the time we were like 20 years old, I was working at a pizza shop, and Matt, my friend, was coming up to sell my buddy like some weed or something, my coworker. And he comes in all fucked up, like doped out, and like walking around, just looking like a total fucking fool. And he walks to the back area where I'm at, and I'm like, bro, don't ever fucking come up here looking like that again, and don't call me anymore until you stop fucking around with that shit. I'm done. And so told him to get the fuck out of here, you're embarrassing yourself. Anyways, he apparently goes home that night, and his parents were out of town. And normally I'd be hanging out with him had this like not gone down. And so I don't know who he was hanging out with, but I guess they were all doing like dope in his basement, and Matt overdosed, and these fuckers all ran out of the house, and they didn't even have like the decency to call 911 on the way out or
Oh
nothing.
my god.
And I guess his sister came home a couple hours later and found her brother dead in the basement.
Oh my goodness.
So that like fucked me up pretty hard. And then like less than a year later, just when I was like kind of like coming out of like how fucked up I was about that, my other two of my tightest friends, Vince and Steve, they were brothers. They drowned, and it just like fucked me all up really hard. And so I was like real like depressed and sad for a long time. And I'm working at the same pizza shop, and they used to eat Vikings on Friday night. They'd call them goofballs or willies. They'd eat them and run around and laugh and have a good time and shit. And they'd be offering them to me all the time. I'm like, nah, man, my friend fucking died from opiates. I don't want that shit. And I'd be denying it. Well, you're so sad. It's not the same. Like, look at us. Do we look like we're junkies? Look how happy we are. Look how sad you are, man. And just time,
Aw.
all this over time and on and on and on. And after like many months, like of me not feeling much better, I was just like,
You
man,
just
I
take
am
it.
sad all the time. Fuck it. I'll take it. I took it
Mhm.
and it made me feel way better. And from there, slowly but surely,
Addicted.
one is two is three,
Right.
three is five. Now I got to get fucking Oxycontin because the Vicodins aren't doing it for me anymore. Now you get introduced to heroin. It's way cheaper and it more or less feels the same. And now you're a heroin addict, you know?
And then you said, so I don't really, let me not say that. You said God delivered you. It's so funny seeing white people say they believe in God.
Look,
Like, no,
I don't believe in God. I was never a believer of God until he literally, all right, so you want this story too?
yes, I want this story. We want this story.
All right. So,
You need to take a smoke break? Okay, yeah.
I mean, let me interject here.
yeah, go ahead, Obi. I need to catch my breath. Damn, I'm talking a lot.
Yeah, you talked a lot.
I always go back to this singular point, like back when I was in high school, right? like, like 10, 11 years ago. I was going to high school, right? I had a buddy of mine, you know, I mean, we always been, up no good for some point, but there's some part of me, I seen him as like someone who had like a bright future, he had a like a good relationship with his girl. He was street smart and he was kind of like book smart too. But the thing is, like, no one really had an eye on us because he's so unassuming. Like, you walk up to him, I'm not gonna say his name's Caleb, but he was that guy's like unassuming. Like, oh man, he seemed like he wouldn't do it, but like, if you push him too hard, he'll fuck you up, right? So
That's me,
I
man. I
always
have a
thought,
make my day attitude. I'll fuck you up if you make me,
yeah,
and I'll enjoy it.
I think Nick already told you the story, but I'm just let her know. So we just chilling like for a year now, and like I always go up to him for advice. But then like one day, a bad news struck us that he overdosed on sleeping pills. I don't know if he was addicted to it, or it's like he took too many and didn't
Yeah,
know what to do
you'll
at
just
that
never
time. But
know. Yeah, it's not open
he
ended.
went to
That
sleep and
sucks.
he went to sleep and he woke up again, right? And it hit me to my core. Like we're freaking like 14, 15 years old.
Wow.
That's a shame, man. I'm sorry you went through that. Yeah, it's rough out here, man. I'm telling you, this world is crazy right now. So, all right. So the story I was telling you guys before I get to like how I got off of this shit, let me tell you how serious and crazy it got, so you'll understand the extent of this. I was like an industrious druggie, and I wanted to supply Pittsburgh with good, pure, raw dope heroin because there was no good supply, and I was like, dude, I can fucking monopolize this market, and there's a big market, but there was none to be found. So I decided I'm going to go around with this young homie of mine. I'm going to drive up to all these kids that claim they can get fire dope. I'm going to be like, here's $30. Go get a sample of that shit. If it's half as fire as you say it is, I got money in the bank. I'm going to literally throw it on my bricks right now. And I figured this is an investment that they're probably going to run away with my money, or the dope ain't going to be nearly the fire they say it is. And I paid $30 to learn to never fuck with that kid again. But on the off chance somebody sees my hustle, and sure enough they did, this dude, like, just looking like the definition of what I picture to be like a real G. He had a really slick, nice looking car, but
And
not like,
how, and it never, struck your mind like maybe this might be the cops?
well, of course, until just listen to the story. So he's like, hey, I want to take you to meet my brother. I was like, all right. He said, your boy can't come. I'm like, all right. So I get in the car. And I came from like a hood, kind of a hood area. I don't want to like exaggerate, but this was like the fucking hood. I'm talking
The
like
ghetto.
I'm
The
talking one
trench.
way in, one way in, one way out. Everybody's watching you when you come through there. There's no white people around, and they're all looking at me like I'm an unfriendly face. The
Oh,
only reason I'm
hell.
allowed down here right now is because I'm in this dude's car, and they're letting me. And these guys are all scouting out for the main dude that I'm now going to his house. It's very evident he owns this fucking block. And so I go down there and I meet the dude, and he puts me on, and I end up over time kind of endearing myself to him because I was an unassuming white dude. I wasn't connected to them at all. He could discredit me easily, or I wasn't a threat in that way. And I was always unassuming, never asking no questions or nothing. Just always came through extra. I was very ambitious, like, and good seller. Like, I was always coming through on like earlier than he'd expect, with more money than I had. Ambitious ideas. I was making my own. Making my own custom stamp designs and names and logos, and printing them up online and then stamping the bags and shit. My shit was I owned the city. I took it over. And anyways, so I'm working for this dude for a while. I start climbing up. I buy myself a car and shit. Like, I'm doing well. And all of a sudden one day I'm driving down there, and on the roof of the garage next to his crib, the garage next to his crib, is like a real shady, out of place looking white dude playing with a pole and what looked to me to be a camera on top of it. And so I go and tell my dude, I'm like, bro, I don't know what's going on up there. He's like, all right, I'll have my people take a look at it. Good look. Come down the next day, And in that spot, there's just, I don't know what, to this day, I don't know what the hell was going on out there, but there's just this giant, out of place, weird, creepy looking teddy bear. And I was like, bro, I don't know what the fuck's going on up there, but I'm not coming down here for a while. I'd advise you to get out of here and lay low for a bit too or something. He's like, good, yeah, good look. All of a sudden, he disappears off the face of the fucking earth on me. Gone. And this is my fucking guy. I mean, I had a car payment. I had all sorts of shit at this time. It fucked me. And, but anyways, dot. That's like the end of that segment of the story. Much more went on like a year or so, 2 years maybe. I don't know how much time. I couldn't keep track of time back then. But I eventually get out of the game. I go through I get clean and stuff. But I always operated in a way that I never had no burners and shit. I had the same number forever. I just it couldn't be pinned on me. I operated like those old Goodfellow guys. That's how I learned from these guys to be. But so all of a sudden I get a random phone call. I'm like, hello? He's like, you know who this is? I'm like, I think so. What's up? He's like, bro, you saved me a bid. I owe you. Come through. I'm like, oh yeah, that's cool, man. I'm glad to hear that. But like, I'm trying to stay out of that shit. Like, he's like, nah, man, you saved me a bid. I owe you. What's the matter? You don't got no money or something? Come through. I got you. I'm like, no, thanks, man. But after a while of like talking him down from it, he eventually like gave me his good graces and shit, and like was like, you know what? I got your back. If you ever need anything, hit me up. Our people won't bother you or nothing. You know, gave me the good graces to get out of that shit, and I was free. But like, my spidey senses were tingling to see that shit. Had I not seen that shit, like, I don't know. Who knows if I would ever even get. You can't just like easily get out of like of fucking running around the streets and stuff, man. They don't just let you go. It's a crazy world to just be given like, I got your back. If you ever need anything, you're free to call me. Our people won't be hassling you or nothing. You don't got to worry about looking over your shoulder. Like, it's a blessing from God already. But, man, I feel like I'm talking too much still. I don't want to like keep going and tell you guys like the story of how I met God.
No, why would you stop? Because first of all,
because this all sounds so ludicrous. Like, but sometimes I used to tell people like little parts of these stories and shit. They're just like, bro.
Wait, so he ain't never stepped to you on no shit like, are you the motherfucking police? Because
bro, I saved him
black,
a bit.
right?
Of course he was black. They were so suspicious of everything and everything. I
And
just
then
proved
all of
myself
a
over
sudden,
time.
when your ass come around, that's when this man get jammed up.
Girl,
He got to go to jail.
That was after I worked for him for so long and made so much for him and did a lot for him. And just, like I said,
Oh, yeah, you're
endeared
right.
myself to him. And here's the big part. I came to learn. Those guys literally have no one in the world they can trust. And what happened was this one unassuming white dude who kind of always comes through on more than you're expecting of him. He's never causing any trouble or asking any questions or anything. He's just very unassuming. He's the one guy that they started to open up to, and I started endearing myself to them, running my truck. Like, that guy put me on. Like,
to this day?
No, I don't talk. I don't talk to none of them anymore because I'm away from the life. Like, even if he, like, I could have just rolled through and he would have gave me a bunch of cash and shit and been like, thanks, man, see ya. I wasn't about to do that. Like, I don't want to go anywhere near there or be associated with it because, dude, it's just dirty. It's messy. You can't clean it up. And by that, I just mean like,
Of course you can.
you don't get it. That could have been the last time if I go down there, I might die. I might get jammed up by the police, anything. I'm just grateful to be out of it. No amount of money in the world could get me to go back there or anything else. I told him that. I was like, bro, no disrespect. I appreciate you. Like, I'm just not trying to do that anymore. I got clean shit. He's like, bro, I respect that. I respect that a lot. Again, I saved him a fucking bid. Had it not been for me seeing that shit, he's actually like, he was like lamenting. He's like, I don't know how. He's like, I don't know how none of my dudes didn't see that shit. What's that?
You could be lying to us for all we damn know.
Well, that's why I don't even want to tell you these stories. That's why I said I don't want to tell you my last story.
I'm joking.
No, see, for real, like, see, you're such a bitch.
I'm joking, honey. All right, go on.
No. I really don't want to tell the last one. That's my personal story.
You're such a drama king.
Nah, that's just my personal story.
What happened to homeboy? He's still here? The pastor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm in like a noisy area, like cars driving past me.
You want to call us
I don't want to. mess with the live, just have background noise, and so I'm muted right now, but I'm still here.
That's a pro move. But, oh, man, I can't tell you how many times I got to tell people to mute up.
All right, well, just call us back. Okay, so listen, everybody is saying, like, come on, tell us. So, tell us.
All right, so this was like after I told you guys I had all the money in the world, drugs and bitches, and I realized like I never been more miserable in my life.
Mm-hmm.
So like money, there was I was like, I gotta get off this dope. And I had tried like a million different every way before that and then some. And sometimes I'd have like decent runs of success or whatever, and it would seem like I'm doing well and all that shit. But I would always succumb to it again. And it was always a problem. It was always something I had to avoid. And it just had a total hold on me. Anyways, I also had another big problem to overcome, which was that money was a major trigger for me at that point.
Yo.
Hey,
Who the hell is this?
I'm not sure. Hey, what's up? The original Mr. You. What do I call you?
You need to relax.
I need to relax, or is that what I call you?
Yeah, that's what you call me, Cito.
Okay, cool. Can I call you Relax for short?
Oh, of course, brother. Of course. Yes, indeed.
Nice, Relax. What brings you in?
Oh, no, brother. Listen, I was want to say that you can write a book about your life, brother. For real. Like you got some key points in your shit, man. Like for real. Not trying to be funny, not trying to be stupid or nothing like that. For real. I'm a real. Real person, you know what I'm saying?
How would
I
his
ain't like
okay, all right,
I
since
ain't
you
like
want to come
raggedy
in
over
and
here.
give
I ain't
your
like
damn
raggedy.
2 cents, how would his book benefit you? How would his book benefit you?
Motherfucker,
Relax.
first of all,
Don't let her
Yeah,
attitude, buddy.
yeah,
Oh no,
she
no,
don't
chocolate,
want
chocolate,
yeah,
chocolate, chocolate.
yeah.
Excuse me, sir. Just 1 second, Relax. My bad about that. Chocolate, chill for a second, hon. Just please
No.
show me the respect. Will you show me the respect and just chill for a second and hear me out?
I just asked him how would your book
No,
be?
you could have asked him that if you wanted to, but it was the tone that you did it.
Yes.
It was looking for. You know what he did. Come on, girl. Don't do that to me right now, please. That was very nice of him to say what he said. Don't
Because
be
there are
going
people
starting.
that
Please,
that was in
thank
your
you.
situation that can really, benefit from your from your solution, you know what I'm saying, and really get them to really see, when they went wrong, you know what I'm saying, in their life.
Man, you know what? I always thought that it was just like two. I would get
Raggedy,
live.
shut your ass up.
Yeah, she's signing shit. See, I'm
Son,
so used to
No,
it.
because I feel like you getting up here being funny, and this ain't no funny motherfucking moment, bitch.
First of all, I wasn't getting being
First
funny,
of
motherfucker.
all, pussy.
Why you gotta be a pussy? Why you gotta
Because
be
you
all that?
are. You getting up here bullshitting. We want to know how he came to find damn God.
No,
Do you
nigga,
know God, bitch?
you just want to
Do
lie.
you know God?
Chocolate.
Do you
You just
have a
want to fucking
relationship
be
with
nosy,
God?
motherfucker.
Chocolate,
You just
please.
want to be nosy.
Bitch, do you
That's all
have